DJK.
Hello everyone and welcome. My name is DJK and we are going to be doing a bit of a SoundSwitch and Realizzer demonstration today. Now the concept of this is, those of you who use SoundSwitch, if you don't want to have to get up your full setup to be able to test it, then you can use Realizzer or another visualizer to do so. Now for me, it took me a little bit of time to get it and get it working and understand it a bit, so I just kind of want to share some of that knowledge. It's not overly complicated, but there are parts that could trip you up quite easily if you're not paying attention. So what I really want to do with this video is go from scratch, from opening SoundSwitch, opening Realizzer, scripting a basic song, and then previewing it in Realizzer. So let's get started, shall we? So to start with, all we're going to do is we are going to want to open up SoundSwitch. So we've got SoundSwitch down there. Let's get it open. Pull it over to the other screen. As we can see, we have got a fresh version of SoundSwitch here. So, first things we're going to want to do is just get familiar. So this obviously depends on the fact that you understand the basics of SoundSwitch, where you're looking, and what you're doing. As you can see, this is a fresh install, all our basic static looks and everything like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some of the basic configurations. So we're going to open up our settings. We're going to make sure that ArtNet is enabled, because if it's not, that is going to cause us problems. As you can see, I don't know if it defaults to this, I believe it does, but obviously for me, Engine Prime and SSC 5000M is what I use. But you're probably going to want to set this for what you actually use, whereas obviously for me that's fine. Everything else here, we're fine to leave. As you can see, I don't have my SoundSwitch plugged in, which is fine. So we're going to go to edit mode, and here we are. As you can see, we have got the default everything here. They've got some fixtures here and our thing here. We're going to remove that, and we're going to name this DJK. So what we're going to do is we have got all these positions and these attribute queues here. For us, we're just going to get rid of them for now, just because we don't need them. There's got to be an easy way of doing this, I'm sure. Let's see if we can do multiple at once. Yes, of course we can. See, I've not had to do it like this, so we're learning together. So if you shift and click and right click and delete, you can get rid of all of them at once. So first thing we're going to do, again, this is based on the fact that you've got some sort of understanding of SoundSwitch, so I might rush over this bit. But we're just going to add some new fixtures. So we're just going to create a new fixture group, which we're going to do by going over to insert a new fixture group. We're just going to call this pars. So this is going to be our uplighters. So this is going to be based on a really basic mobile DJ setup, because that's where SoundSwitch predominantly is focused. Now, I'm going to be using this to model a lot of my club setups for when I'm using it in clubs, because obviously it's much easier than me sit here and do it here, than me to go into a club, set myself up and do all of that. So it's easy for me to do it here. But we're going to base on mobile DJs with like a basic kind of setup of a couple of pars and a couple of moving heads, and that's going to be our basic setup. We're not doing anything amazing here. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some fixtures. So we're going to use the pars I have, which are LEDJs, and we have got, when I will find them, the slim lines, RGB Ws, I believe I have got, and they are those ones there. So for me, they are in 7-channel mode, so I need to make sure I select the 7-channel mode there. We're going to add 4 of these, and as I said, we could have done it this way to add it to a new group there, which would have been a lot easier. Now, for this, because we're setting up a new setup, we're going to auto address them, so that means they're going to automatically get their DMX address signed. So we're going to add that, we're done there, and we're just going to delete off this fixture group. And we're just going to call it pars here. And there we are, those are our pars set up. We're going to minimise that because I don't need to see it. And we're going to quickly add some moving heads, which again, the ones I've got. So we are going to go for just those ones, because that is the ones I have normally. So we're going to add multiple again, and we're going to add 4 of these again. And that is our really basic setup here. We've auto addressed them again to do that. Now, Obviously, again, this does depend on you having a basic understanding of DMXing, but obviously you can only assign one fixture per channel of the amount it's got. So obviously 1 to 7, 8 to 14, and so on and so forth. Now, to check this, you can see your DMX mapping here. This will show you whether you've made a mistake. You can see here that I've got all my fixtures over there, and they're there corresponding to what's going on here. Okay? So that is our basic setup. That's all we're going to do for the moment. Obviously now you can add lasers in. I can select that I want to have a laser there or whatever I want to do. But for us, for now, we're just going to do this. We might expand this later on at a different point to do some lasers and stuff, but we'll see how this goes. So, obviously we're not worrying about an auto loop, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to check that we do have some auto loops here, that we do have. So we've got a few things that are going on them, which is good, because that means we can just test that SoundSwitch and Realizzer are talking. So, we've got SoundSwitch open. So let's now pop open Realizzer. And again, this is any virtualization tool. Obviously, we're just using the demo at the moment. So we're just going to go later. We're going to let this load. And once it loads, we're going to pop in from here. So we're going to continue our demo. And we're going to do a new project, which is going to be DJK. And we're going to initialize this. And obviously, this is limited the demo to an hour, and you can't save it. So we're just going to use my normal graphics card. And it's going to load, and there we have it. So, what we're going to do now is we need to check this is set up correctly. So, our input is DMX. We need to make sure we're setting ArtNet, which we have. And I think I've just disabled that, so I'm just going to make sure it's ticked. And network settings, make sure you've got your network adapter selected. So, for example, I don't want my antivirus NIC, I don't want my VPN NIC, or anything like that. I just need the normal one there. So obviously we've got that applied. So next thing, so we can test that they're communicating, is we need to get some fixtures added. So we're going to go into fixtures on the left here, where you've got my library and fixtures. We're going to go for LEDJ, if I can spell it. If it doesn't want to work, there we go, perfect. So we're going to go to LEDJ, and it is a slimline. There it is. So we are going to just add one for the moment, and we're going to duplicate them later. So we've added one. We're going to make sure we select the correct channeling. So we've got 7 channels, remember, because in SoundSwitch we told them here it was a 7-channel software bit of quit. So we're doing the 7-channel mode. Now let's just zoom in to see our fixture. There it is. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly tilt this a little bit to be at a 45-degree angle, or yeah, we're going to do a 45-degree angle here, guys. So that is our fixture there. As you can see, it's tilted. It will be tilted. Sorry, there you go. It's better. 45 degrees. It wants to work. There you go. It was just too low in the floor for me to be able to actually see it. So there it is. It's been moved. Let's just... There we go. So as you can see, it is now tilted at a 45-degree angle there. So what we're going to do here is we're going to now just duplicate them. So we're just going to right click, we're going to duplicate, we're going to do free of, and we're going to do full length offset them by 20 centimeters. There we are. So I need to do that as a bigger number, but we can now just drag these into a position for now, because all we're doing right now is just proving that it works. So now what we've got to make sure is these have got to communicate with SoundSwitch. Now we obviously auto DMX these, so we might not have been paying attention to what we did. So there are a couple of ways to check this. Obviously the physical fixture addressing should match with what you've got here. So check your fixtures. You've obviously got the channels down there, or you can view the DMX view here to check what they are. So I see this is address 1. So I just try and get this onto the right screen. No. This is what happens when I try and use graphics software at the same time as I'm rendering a video. That will teach me for doing that, won't it? So we know this is 1 to 7. So we jump to Realizzer. And we see it's patched there, so we want to select 7-channel, start address 1. Okay. Likewise, we want to go. This is patched. We know this starts at 8. Then we go over here. We know this is patched. We're not sure what this one is, so we're going to double check. And if we go to SoundSwitch, we can see that it is 15, just in case we forgot. So it's 15 and 22. So we're going to go to there. We're going to say that's 15, and then we're going to say that one there is patched and is on 22. So there we go. They are now there. If we go to SoundSwitch, we go out of our DMX view and we go into here. If we just pop this up to here, it should be red and up. So we can see there, we've got red fixtures and they are a light. So let's just quickly change the visual settings here. So we're going to drop the light of the room. We're going to add a bit more haze in there so the lights are a little bit clearer. And there we go, we can see those there. Now, if I just pause it here, and I'll try and get both my screens recorded so you can see what I'm doing side by side quickly. Now, as we can see, the lights in SoundSwitch over here are set to red, kind of bouncy, and in Realizzer we have also got the lights red here. So we've got our red lights over here and our red lights over here. So if we go into SoundSwitch and press play, we can see them reacting to what we've done. Now what we've obviously done is we've set our DMX channels to be correct, and we've also set them to match within the software. And again, we can see them go to blue, we can see them go teal, we can see them do this stuff here, where it's going to be a little bit less bouncy there. We can change it to be this kind of hip hop stuff here, where it's going to slide in various colour scales to give us everything that we need. Now what we're going to quickly do is we can see that it's working. We are going to add our new fixtures into Realizzer, which are going to be our moving heads. We're going to position them kind of a little bit more how we want, and we will go from there. So if we head over into Realizzer and go there, what we can do now is we can change the way this is then going to work. So we've got our paths here, and I'm just going to quickly group these. Just call them paths, but I don't know if I can. I'm sure you must be able to some way, but not that there it is. Paths. So we've called those paths. So we're now going to create a new set here. So we're just going to click out of that because I don't like it. We're going to call them here. And we're going to try and find our moving heads. I haven't looked for these, so I'm hoping they exist. So there's a Q Spot 260, which I'm hoping is what it is. And it looks... it's not quite right. So what we'll do is, because I don't have the... correct versions, I'm going to just quickly change in SoundSwitch what we're using. We're going to use Q Spot 260s. So let's just quickly jump over to SoundSwitch. Obviously, for you guys, you'll be able to create what you need because you will have the fixtures that you want. And we're just going to add multiple of these. We're going to do 4 of them in a new group, and we're going to auto address them. Job done. We're going to remove that. Actually, I've done it a bit silly here, so we're just going to delete them. We're going to get the 260s, we're going to add multiple. 4, add next, and we're going to auto address them. Job done. There we go. So, that is our new moving heads. And we now got them there, showing up, and we will now add these into our environment. So what we're going to do is we're just going to pop one there for the moment. They're in 14 channel mode as we set over in SoundSwitch. So if we're looking in Realizzer, we can see we've added a fixture, and we can just do that to drag and drop as well. So we're just going to go zoom in on our fixture here. We're going to just move it up a little bit, hopefully. There it is. So for the moment we're just going to pop it there. Okay, and we're going to pop another one just there for now. There it is. So I'm just going to quickly address these, test they work, and then I'm going to pause the video while I get these into a nicer positioning for us. So they're patched. This one is on 29. So we're saying it's on 29. And there we go. It is now referencing a colour. Now, moving heads for these are typically not very good at doing colour the same as everything else. So we're just going to check it there. This is doing a slightly different, what I would say, red, but then again, this is obviously a colour wheel based rather than actually anything else. So we're just going to add this quickly, get this on to channel 43, and there it is. So that is that. Leave me, I will create my little environment and then I'll give you a rundown as to what we've got. So back in a moment. Here we are, guys. So we've got this kind of set up in a basic way where we've got all of our fixtures mapped on there. They're grouped nicely for us to be able to see it. We're just going to lock them in place so that we can't move them when we're making changes, because that is the biggest bugbear of my life with this software, is that I keep moving them in place. So if we just click there, they're in place there. And now if we just jump SoundSwitch up as well, and we can see both of these, we'll be able to see hopefully that everything is matching what it's supposed to do. Obviously these moving heads are slightly different colours than what SoundSwitch is seeing, which is a little bit frustrating, but that is based on the fact that they're moving heads and these don't do as much for us on that respect. So what we need to do now is we now need to make some position cues and some attributes. So what we're going to quickly do is we're going to do some really basic ones, because I say this is only a quick tutorial. So if we go to SoundSwitch, we can now make some position cues. So we're just going to do a cue. Normally I would do these in folders, but again, because this is just a real basic tutorial, we're going to do that. So we're going to make these, we're just going to call it 1. And we're just going to say all of the fixtures are going to be going to over there. Now, if I bring up both screens, so here we can see we've got our box here and our moving heads. So if we move this here, we can see our moving heads move based on what we're telling them to do. They're up here, they're doing a wave. They are doing what we tell them to do, which is fantastic. So we might want to call this up there. So that could be, we name this a little bit nicer for now. We might want to call this all up, for example. We're then going to do another one. We might want to call it, that's kind of, we're going to call this 0, because that's the 0 ground. We've got all up, we've got 0. Now let's create a new one again. That will go us behind. We're going to do, this is in, so we're going to do that as being at us. And again, this is just some really rough names, guys. Feel free to call these whatever you so wish. And then we're going to kind of do about there, which is kind of dance floor. So once you've kind of got some basic positions like that, you then want to obviously add some positions that go to the side slightly. So we might want to have like, I don't know, over there. So that is going to my left. Then we're going to be going to my right. And then we're going to do some split position ones. So we're going to have 1 and 4. They're going to go to there, for example. And then these two here. Again, I'm clicking and holding control to select multiple. They're going to go over up here, for example. So they're now doing different positions. We're going to call this split. We're going to do another one which is going to be pretty much the same, the other way around. So these are going to face down to the ground, and we're going to have these go up like that. There we are. and this is going to be split 2, and then we're going to do a couple more quickly, really quickly. Just we're going to have these go. So we're going to have this and this are going to go there. This and this are going to go over there, for example. So we're just doing some more splitting imaging, splitting lighting, just something a little bit different again to add some more diversity to our lighting. So that's going to do for now. And then we're going to quickly do some attributes. So we're going to create an attribute queues. So we've now got our attribute queues. Obviously these don't really have any attribute queues apart from kind of automatic stuff, which we can just show you hopefully here. I don't know what they do, but apparently they really do too much. So hopefully we can show our gobos over here with this. Now, if we do a fixed gobo wheel, hopefully we should see those change like that. So we can see they're doing different gobos based on what we're doing. Now, if we select all of them, we can all have them all doing the same gobo. Now, obviously it's quite difficult for us to see at the moment, but if we quickly just go into Realizzer, and we might want to go up like this, zoom in a little bit, and now we can see what our gobos are actually doing. So if we go back to here, we can now change our gobos to do something different. So we've got some gobos there, we've got them shaking, bouncing. That's quite a cool effect. So we can do whatever we want with our gobos. Likewise, we've got it here, we've got another whale for various different effects, and we can have them spinning like that if we wanted. Obviously we've got prism, which then we can do a gobo for example, and so on and so forth. So we've got our various options about what we want to do. Now for us, all we're going to do is we are going to do, if we for example gobo rotate, then there, I don't know how well this does rotation, not very well by the look of it, but that's okay because we're not going to be using that. But yeah, so we're going to create a couple of really simple gobos. We're going to go for that. We're going to just call it gobo 1 we will be. And we're just going to create another one. And I will just get these created and I will then show you what we've got. Right guys, now we have got our positions, we've got some attributes. We are now going to go and pull a song. So we're going to go into our files, we're going to browse to our drive, and we're going to pick up our song here. As you can see, we've got our beat grid set, and yeah, we are going to go ahead and do this. So there are obviously multiple ways you can do this. For simplicity, we're going to just automate this to start with. So we're going to auto script, and we're going to go ahead and say our base intensity at 30%, we're going to pulse at 100 and bridge at 50. We're going to do a lot of movement, we're going to do some pretty quick colour change. Now you can obviously let it automatically do a colour theme. Now knowing what my moving heads are like, they're going to be on the colour wheel. So we might want to change that, or we might want to leave it in place for them. But let's pick a nice blue for that. Let's pick a nice purple for our pink for our secondary. Let's have a green for that, and then our highlight will be white. Actually, do you know what? Let's get rid of the. Let's leave it like that. Let's use all the positions. We can use all the gobos, and we're going to set it to 8 beats. So we're going to start that. We're going to analyze it, do its automatic scripting, and we can then make various tweaks from this. So as you can see, we've done it. Now if we go to both, we can see that Realizer's got a little bit upset with us. So we're just going to go ahead and zoom out a little bit and adjust our view on that, on what it looks like. So there we are. That's that. Now, as a really basic level, this is what it is going to look like. So I'm just going to quickly mute my mic. Now, as a first automatic go from SoundSwitch, that is perfectly fine. There is nothing wrong with that at all. But obviously we don't want to leave it like that. We want to do some tweaks. That's the reason we got the software, right? So, we're going to go back into SoundSwitch, and we are going to go ahead and start making some tweaks. So if we kind of just zoom in a little bit here, we can see what's going on. Now, SoundSwitch has got the beat grid pretty good. We can obviously make changes based on whatever we want to do. We've obviously got our positioning cues here, as well as our attribute changes here. We can make as many changes to that as we want. The beat grid itself with the pulsing and stuff isn't too bad. I'm not too upset about that. But I might want to change it so the attributes only change at a certain point. So I might want to get rid of this one here, and I might want to move it over here to do something like that. Or I might want to just not have it do anything completely. Obviously, we can do overrides, so if I only want my pass to do something, I could create an override here for that. Likewise, with moving heads, I could make some changes here. Again, I'm not going to go fully into this scripting part, because the concept of this for me is to let you guys get to this point where you can visualize it and use it, and you've got that basic setup, and for then you to go and play. But your basics obviously are going to be, you want to change some positions. You might want to do some positional overrides. For example, when this bit drops into the track, let's pick here, for example, we might want to do, on the moving heads, we might want to do a bit of position chasing, for example. So we could do a different effect on that. We could change the colour, we could have the moving heads do a different thing to what the pars are doing. So we might want, at this point, we might want them to be a nice yellow, for example. And we might want them to do a position chase. So we could do that, we could drag that there, we could apply it to the group. And let's do it on every bar, and let's do all the positions. So, as you can see, they have now got a position chase there. So, if we take my mic off and we go to here, we'll be able to see what that looks like. And as you can see there, guys, the moving heads chased each other in position based on what we were seeing over here. So that's a very powerful tool you can use there. Likewise, you could get them to strobe. I don't think strobes show very well in Realizzer, so I'm not going to do it. We can do movement changes. We could do build-up changes. So, for example, if this is where it's about to drop. I like the pars because they're really responsive. So if I do this bit here, I could go downtown. There, I could do it in a group, and that will then do the override for that, for this. So if I then show you what this will then look like, we can choose that. And as you see, there you probably had a lot of echo there. As you can see, that then did what it was expected to do there. So we can do all these changes as much as we want, and we can do a drop here. We could have our moving heads. If we say that this part here is the drop, we could have Firestorm, for example. We'll do it on the group, which will then strobe based on this. We'll have a maximum override and a strobe. So we can have that doing what we want. Likewise, if we decide on this build up here, we don't want this moving head to do anything, we could just create an override, which is now not doing anything. We could have this one here not doing anything. We could create an override, and it won't do anything. So what we then see is if we go into Realizzer, if we see only on there, we can see that it's there. Then if we change it, only 2 of them are doing it, and then all 4 of them are back there. So we can change this as much as we want to be able to do, depending on what we want to achieve. Now obviously this is a very rough setup here, and obviously as I say, we're done with that. So as you can see though, that is our time for the demo. So we're going to have to stop it there. Let me see if I can just sneak away around it though. yeah, which looks like I can. So it gives me a way to sort of explain what I mean with this though, guys. So when we're here, if we actually see what it kind of looks like, we can see as we're changing it, the moving heads are doing that. So now if I'm opening in SoundSwitch up my gobos, I can see this is then changing what the gobos are doing there to be able to be done. And all of this will change and reflect what you're actually doing. So the more creative you can be with your program within SoundSwitch, the better you will make this look. Likewise, if I go right to the end of this tune here, and we mute me, so that is the end of the track. So I probably don't want it to be moving around as much as it is there. So I might want to get rid of my attributes here. No, I don't want to remove that. I want to get rid of these. So I might want to clear those. So it only does this. And then I might like the fact that it does... I might want them all to be up to start with. There. And then I might want it to go to a side split like this, and I might, well, that's how I want it to end. So if I have it ending over there, that's that. Now if I want my gobo to be that one, and I don't want it to change, because again I'm ending the song. So if I go here, this will be. And as we see, that was a bit more dramatic on how it was done. So using SoundSwitch is going to be how you're going to change this, and using Realizzer is how you're going to be able to actually see that. So yeah, that is a really basic guide, guys. I could spend absolutely hours talking about this for you. But realistically, you need to get in and learn it. You need to just get in, get involved, and have a play. Ask questions. There are lots of helpful people out there. But yeah, get SoundSwitch set up. Get Realizzer set up, match your fixtures up between the two, and get playing. Have a go, guys. So yeah, hopefully this is a little bit interesting and a little bit helpful for you guys. It should kind of hopefully give you a bit of an idea of what you're trying to achieve and where you're trying to go with it. And as soon as you press that OK button, Realizzer will close. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully it was beneficial for you. If it was, do leave me a comment and let me know. If there is anything more you want to see, please do also let me know. I'd love to hear from you guys. Any questions, please do get in contact. Good luck, have fun, speak soon, guys.